Hi there, KOIN 6 Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart here, and thank you for joining us on this KOIN Plus special edition as we are diving our way into the Pride season, Pride Month. And remember, KOIN 6 is your Pride station 365 days a year. We call it Beyond Pride, but we really have an exciting time when we are talking about Pride Month in particular here in the Pacific Northwest with such a strong community. I want to go ahead and introduce you to Portland's very own Thom Hilton. Thom, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, I got to ask you, as part of the LGBTQ plus community, how are you celebrating Pride Month and how can people maybe join you?
Okay, well, how am I celebrating? I mean, we're really lucky in Portland because Pride Month is basically 2 months long. Because our festival is at the end of July and our parade, and then everybody still wants to celebrate Pride in June. So we're partying, we're hanging out, we're drinking, we're going to shows, seeing great local drag pretty much all summer. As for me, I'm kicking off my Pride season this Sunday, June 1st, by hosting a little mini film festival of short films that I've made over the past few years at the Clinton Street Theater.
And that is so exciting that we have such local talented people. Can you tell me just a little bit about what film enthusiasts might be able to see when they're heading out to your show this weekend?
Yeah, so this weekend we're going to be showing a collection of 4 short films. The first is called Synonymous With. It's about a queer horror host on a public access TV show. The second film is called One Drift and We All Go Home. It's a documentary about commercial salmon fishing in Kenai, Alaska. The third film is called You Look Pretty Up Here. It's really gentle and patient romance about a couple who is trapped in a cabin up in Rhododendron, Oregon. And then the big finale is Matinee Baby, a big body, raunchy, romantic comedy that was filmed at the Clinton Street Theater and made in collaboration with Portland Art Museum's Center for an Untold Tomorrow.
That is really exciting. I'm personally excited to hear and just kind of going through some of the videos that you sent over to us. This is really incredible stuff. Talk to me about how you actually got into film, what's your training in this, and how people can continue to support you.
Yeah, well, I started as an actor. I was living in New York City in 2019 when I was cast in a movie called Swan Song. It was directed by Todd Stevens and co-starred Udo Kier and Jennifer Coolidge. And I fell so in love with just the process of how that movie was made. It was really inspiring for me to start writing and directing my own stuff. So the next year, 2020, is when I made my first short film, and I've made pretty much one a year since then. And something that people will learn when they come to this event too is that I'm currently fundraising for a new short film. It's going to be called, long one, Waking Up from a Nap on a Long Day of Doing Nothing. And it's a celebration of First Thursday, the 40-year tradition in Portland of gallery shows in the Pearl District.
That is very exciting. And you're filming all of this content locally. I've just kind of seen the images right here. There's some local faces as well. For future events, how can maybe people get connected if they're interested in being maybe one of the characters in your films?
Yeah, I love to collaborate with anybody who feels brave enough to come up and start a conversation with me, I guess. Come to this screening on Sunday the 1st. Learn about how you can donate if you want to make the project possible, but also if that's outside of your means and you're interested in getting into film, come hold a microphone, send me an audition tape, be an extra if you want, but just come hang out and let's make something together. Making film does not have to be this thing that's really outside Hollywood, big budget. It's an art project, and it's a community art project that takes a lot of people to make possible. So I love making friends through it, and I love building that community together.
And you've been in Portland for a while, am I correct now?
Born and raised, Josh.
Born and raised. So, hey, locally grown. We appreciate that. And with building this community, what does it feel like when you actually see everybody come together watch your films, see all the hard work. I'm sure you're probably not watching the screen. You're probably watching all of the faces and the emotion that it invokes.
I think I've made this joke before, but specifically Matinee Baby, which has a lot of, shall we say, out there content. Um, I was sitting behind my grandparents and all of their septuagenarian friends at the premiere, and just seeing a lot of bowed heads and like giggling, shy shoulders. And that kind of stuff is just my favorite stuff. If I can invoke a physical reaction from somebody, whether it's laughing, crying, I love a squirm. That's such a treat for me.
Talk to me a little bit about the thought process coming up with the script and the camera shots and the characters. What really kind of goes into that for you?
Yeah, I'm so lucky because my experience with each of these films was so varied. With that first film about the horror host, I met a stand up comedian in New York and I looked at him and I just said, we should write a gay Vincent Price thing for you. And it all kind of came out of that. And I had asked my dad for a camera to make that movie, and he had sent along some tapes inside of the camera from the 1990s when he was working in Alaska. And I said, this is its own movie. We need to make a documentary just with these tapes. So that flowed really naturally as well, getting to make that with him. And after I made those two, a dear friend of mine, Ethan River Cohen, had written kind of a screenplay treatment for this romance, which we then worked on together and became You Look Pretty Up Here. And as I mentioned from my days of attempting stand up in New York, I had a lot of these kind of characters and jokes that I had been working on. And after I started co hosting the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Clinton Street Theater, I thought, oh, a movie theater setting is such a great place for all these like really wild genre tinged characters to come together. It's a rare way that they can coexist convincingly in a way that they otherwise would not at all.
That is a big process, and almost it kind of seems like all of your different loves being pulled together to be able to create such a picture perfect a story for us here that the Portland area really gets to enjoy. Now, you mentioned that you are a part of the Clinton Street Theater and their Rocky Horror Picture Show. I have a confession to make. I have actually never seen the show, and I know it's shameful.
Gosh, no, it's not shameful. You're what we call a virgin. And you're very lucky because I host a show called Rocky Horror for Virgins. It's like a class where I teach you how to become a total Rocky Horror professional. So it's the fourth Saturday of every month. You can come and I will teach you all the funniest jokes. I'll give you all the stuff that you throw at the screen and at your friends. I'll teach you how to dance the dances, when to sing along, and, when the boring parts are so you can go get a snack or a beer. Everything so that when you do go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show with the very talented Clinton Street Cabaret, you will not look like a sucker. You will be an absolute pro, Josh.
I'm so glad that that opportunity is out there. Both my husband and I, because he's never seen it either, we're like, I'm afraid to go see it because I don't want to be made fun of.
Don't be afraid. I won't make fun of you. I promise, maybe.
Not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
I guess it's what we get for waiting this long to be able to actually see it.
Only 50 years.
Yeah, just a while, and pop culture icons and the works. I at least am able to get some of the references, so there's a bit of a trade-off.
It's in the osmosis. It's really like seeped into the culture in its own wild way.
Well, and I do have to ask, too, with you working so closely with the Clinton Street Theater, what is kind of their reaction behind having you come in and show your hard work off?
Honestly, they must just be so sick of me by now. But no, they are the most accommodating, wonderful group of people. I mean, they're owned by this wonderful cohort of different personalities who all have different tastes in film, and they curate and program so many incredible like mainstream big boffo box office stuff, and then the wildest, totally out there thing that you could never find that, they're handwriting subtitles for. Like, and then they're doing drag performances where people are running up and down the aisles. Like, they really want it to be a space for everything that cinema can be. And I'm just lucky that I get to pop in there and be a part of it.
Now, is this your first time actually showing your films as a collaboration, or talk to me a little bit about that process as well?
Well, actually, yes, this will be the first time that these films are being seen in sequence. Like I've never even watched them just like one after the other over the course of an hour. And that's because they're each made a year apart, and then there is this long process of film festivals and submissions and awards and screenings. And so you just kind of live in the world of the one film at the time for its lifespan. And I'm just really excited and a little bit scared to see if there's a through line in the work, or if they really are so different, or maybe just being honest with myself about where I started and how I've grown, and just get to look at all of my friends who did such a wonderful job acting and filming and lighting and doing the makeup. It's such a joy, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people are responsible for just these four little movies.
And I gotta say, just watching them, I'm in awe. I'm a big movie buff. I also kind of see myself as an online creator. A lot of our viewers know me for my crazy weather TikToks and stuff. So I take appreciation in just how beautifully shot everything is, how perfectly edited. It definitely gives a vibe. We're seeing one of the images now of the Halloween-themed story here, and just really gives off the vibe that I feel you were trying to go for. And talk to me a little bit about that process as well. When you have a picture in mind, how does you working with an editor all come together?
I think for me, what is such a wonderful thing about filmmaking is that an idea can just come into my head, and as long as the form is movie, it is totally okay to get everybody together, raise money, and work really, really hard to get that image from in here onto the screen. It is so unlike anything else, because a lot of the times to realize our ideas, we have to do it alone. But as a writer and as a director, it's my job to, we see Carla Rossi, the wonderful multi-hyphenate local performer there, like, and John Henry Ward and Harrison Sheehan, who she's acting with there, like everything had to go from here to there. The way that the light looks, the way that the camera is, what they're drinking and what they're wearing. And that's only possible through teamwork. And I get very touched when I talk about it.
As you should, because you can see the hard work, the teamwork. I know a lot of us here in the news business, it's kind of the same thing. There's so many moving bodies. Sometimes their faces aren't shown up, but when you look at the finished product, you know that it was all a built process, and that the teamwork is really as strong as the facilitator as you are, and that I think that really shows through.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, do you mind if I show everybody just a bit of a clip of exactly what's in store for them this weekend?
Do it.
All right, let's take a look at it.
you want a donut?
Yes, I will have a donut, please.
Sounds good, right?
It's so fun, so fun. So again, if people are just now tuning in, can you tell everybody when to come and watch, support, and maybe how they can support in the future too if they're watching this, say, at the end of Pride Month?
Absolutely. So you can come out to see my 4 short films at the Clinton Street Theater this Sunday, June 1st at 3 p.m. And if you're interested in helping out with my next project, Waking Up from a Nap on a Long Day of Doing Nothing, we are crowdfunding through midnight on Monday. So this is a fundraiser event. Proceeds from the ticket sales are going to be going towards production of that film. And you can donate to that movie on Indiegogo through midnight on Monday. Otherwise, you can reach out to me through Instagram. My handle is THOMJH. Tell me what you do, and let's grab a coffee and work together.
Thom Hilton, everybody, thank you so much for taking the time, and we are really excited to see this project of yours come together. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you for taking the time, Josh. It means a lot.
Absolutely. And happy Pride to everybody out there who is watching. Here's a few clips, again, of what you can see this upcoming weekend.
Happy Pride!
Do you want a donut?